Peace, peace. Welcome to another episode of Spirit Talks with Queen Oshuni and my special guest today, Moro. Welcome, Moro. How are you doing?
All is well. Peace and love, Queen.
And peace and love unto you. Blessed enough to meet you through an app and was drawn to your wisdom, to know you. It seems as you've done many things in your life. So you want to tell us a little bit about that, your journey from being a pastor to a firefighter, leading you up to where you are right now as a shaman?
Well, I grew up in a kind of weird religious environment. It was I had an uncle who was Muslim. My grandmother, of course, were Christian. My aunt was into Hare Krishna and Eastern religions. So I started studying religion at an early age. I, I began. I ended up being a pastor just through, as a young adult, through one of the first communities that I moved to. It was kind of a community that was at risk. And so just being out there assisting the community, I was bringing harvesters trucks in to feed the community, different people, different families that I knew were struggling with that. And I ended up building a church from a street ministry out there. So I did that for for a while, for a number of years.
Okay.
Um, Firefighting, I got into that out of the sheer boredom of what I chose to major in college, which was economics. So I finally started working in my degree specific field, doing mutual funds and stocks and things like that for people.
Okay.
And I was bored out of my mind, suit and tie every day. So I wanted a little bit of excitement, and ended up joining the fire department, which was great because it allowed me to explore other things. It was 2 days a week, full time, really.
Okay.
So while I did that, I managed the detention center and a couple of group homes, and I did a lot of social work during that time. Um, but that's also when I first started going into business for myself. I first started a janitorial service that I sold and used that to start a trucking company, which I still do a trucking company,
Mm-hmm.
amongst other things. Yeah. It's just been a journey, one thing leading to the next. Studying the whole way through, always been fond of information and learning new things.
Okay. And it brought you to this point now in your life where you are a shaman and have been walking with people and helping them heal. Tell us more about that, and when do you feel like you knew if that was a point?
Well, as a shaman, I take people on spirit walks, but the spirit walk, the way that I do it, is really just an exploration of self, so that people can see their higher self and their lower self, and understand the detachment from the ego and the separation of the mind and the body and the spirit, to know who you really are in this existence, apart from the physical things, just the multi layers, the multi-dimensional beings that we are. So in the spirit walk, I walk people through that process of seeing themselves more fully and more completely, so that they can reconnect with their purpose or rediscover themselves in a new way and refocus and redirect their life path if they choose to. It's just all about awareness of self for me in that realm of things.
And when did you step into self awareness?
Um, it was gradual because, like I said, I studied a lot of different religions, and the more that I studied, the more that I learned that they were all pretty much saying the same things. So I got into the esoteric knowledge of the signs and the symbols that are depicted in most religions, just the various ways of looking at the stories, the characters, the anthropomorphic tales, and coming to the understanding that, hey, this is me. This is the story of me. These are stories about this human experience. This is okay. So where am I at on the spectrum of this human experience, and where do I want to go? Now that I see the path, you know. So then I started you know, going through the ascension process. Once I was aware, once I knew what I was doing.
And did you have a shaman or spiritual advisor walk along with you in your journey?
My shaman came later. I had a shaman that I still am in contact with. She's pretty dope. Matter of fact, she's going to be a practitioner at the wellness center. She's going to be the resident shaman there
Okay.
at the wellness center. So, but yeah, she took me on my first spirit walk, and so that revelation was, I thought I was aware, and I thought I knew myself until I did that, and I started experiencing that version of things. So, there's different molecules that people use. We use the spirit molecule, which most people call is DMT, but it's a spirit molecule. So it was used in a lot of ancient practices along like ayahuasca, peyote, and things like that in different indigenous cultures where people would go on, reconnect with the creator or source or spirit or their higher self, or whatever you want to call it, and just get a different perspective of this life experience. So that for me was very illuminating because I was able to experience the death of the ego, and I was able to understand the difference in just the layers of reality. A lot of people will call this experience, this reality, the physical plane, an illusion because there's just is so much more going on to life. Human beings only see 1% of the light spectrum. So it's 99% of things going on, of light beings and different things going on that physically in the body you just don't pay attention to. You can't really perceive it.
Very
So,
true. Unless you
yeah, being in that space
start to tap in,
is,
become one.
yeah, it's revelatory. It allows you to see more of the light spectrum and reconnect you with yourself in different ways.
In your practice, in your work, in your journey, what have you found to be the source of the disconnect, if you will? Like, why is it that so many of us have to really kind of unshed so many things and rewire and, if you will, rebirth to get to?
Well, in my opinion, it's because of the way that things are systematically set up to benefit and profit other people or other systems or enterprises, corporations, whatever you want to look at it, however you want to look at it. We're people are being taught and trained to do a job to serve as a wheel or a cog in a bigger machine, you know, and think that that's their purpose. You go train to be a doctor. It's a great thing to do. You train to learn medicine. You be a doctor. You work a job as a doctor or a pharmacist or a social worker or this or that in this bigger scheme of things. But it's occupying your time from the moment that you start kindergarten until you retire. you
Mhm.
know, at 65, 70, whatever age you retire at. So it's I think that the disconnect is that it's just not being taught to people, and people are being given the illusion that this is all that there is, and that this is what purpose looks like. That these career paths or life paths that put you in a service in society and a cog, a wheel, and a machine is, the purpose, and you enjoy yourself when you retire. You save a nice nest egg. You can take care of your
Right.
families, and so this is for me. This is where the disconnect is because, in my opinion, that's not purpose at all. It has nothing to do with purpose at all.
It's like what the real riches of the world are, and it's not in the material things or.
No, not at all. It's not. And if you don't know better, it can be fulfilling because
Right.
you don't know what else is out there. You haven't you don't know what you're missing. But once you see a bigger picture, a broader perspective, then it can be frustrating because you'll understand that, you kind of been deceived
Mm-hmm.
and,
Mm-hmm.
and given the short end of the stick. when you could